Namaha. A very warm welcome to another symposium from Indica Moksha. And this time we are focusing on the wonderful works, unparalleled contributions to Advaita Siddhanta by Sri Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi. Let me begin. This is Nitin Sridhar, and let me begin with a prayer. Vakratunda Mahakaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Sarvamangala Mangalye Shive Sarvartha Sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vibhagine Vyomavatyapta Dehaya Sri Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. We have been trying to organize symposiums focusing on the works of various acharyas in the last few months. We had a symposium on Appaya Dikshitar, on Vachaspati Mishra. Our last symposium was on the works of Swami Vidyaranya. And today we focus on another stalwart, a great Sanskrita Kavi, poet, scholar, yogi, and a very strong proponent of Advaita Darshana. His philosophical, that is Sri Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi, and his philosophical interpretations and dialectics of logic so fantastic that it earned him the name Apara Adi Shankara, an incarnation of Adi Shankaracharya. He has written a number of works on Vedanta and most notably of other schools, most importantly Vishishtadvaita. With this very brief introduction, we have with us Sri Dr. Nagaraj Paturi ji. We'll be sharing more about a biographical sketch and a overview of his works of Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi ji. Today we have lined up a line of wonderful speakers, great scholars and vidwans to speak on these different works. Stay tuned to us with the full day program. I request Sri Nagaraj Paturi ji to go ahead and share his opening remarks for the symposium.
Jnananandamayam devam nirmalaspatikakritim adharam sarvavidyanam hayagreevamupasmahe sadashiva samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. As Nitin Sridhar Avaru was mentioning in his introductory remarks, this symposium is a part of a series of symposiums on various stalwarts of Vedanta. We had Advaita Academy as part of Indica Academy, and now it is being called Indica Moksha, under which we cover not just Advaita Vedanta, even the other strands of Vedanta also. The series of talks that are being organized recently are stalwarts of Advaita Vedanta only. As part of that series, we had a symposium on Apaya Dikshita, another one on Vachaspati Mishra. And now this symposium is going to be on who is called as Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi. For the benefit of non-Telugu speakers, let me explain that name. Bellamkonda Ramarao is the way it is actually pronounced. This Rao ending among Telugu people is very frequent. We have that Rao ending even today, more today than earlier, among Telugu Brahmins. Though this Rao ending is found among Vaidiki Brahmins also, but typically it is found among Niyogi Brahmins. Let me explain what is this Vaidiki Niyogi difference. Milton Singer and other sociologists of Indian culture also have covered this in their coverage of Indian sociology, that among Brahmins at a certain stage, they have developed two strands. One is those who continued the traditional Brahmin hereditary practices. And in that book, beautifully, though that sociologist covers the differences between Veda Panditas, Vedic scholars only, and Shastra scholars, they are a separate category, and Purohitas, and among Purohitas, Aparakarma Purohitas, and general Smarta Purohitas. So, with all these categories put together, that is Vaidiki Brahmins. But there is another strand. In Telugu, they are given the name Niyogi, but we have it in all over India. In Maharashtra, you have Deshpandes, etc., Kulkarnis, etc., who are into royal jobs. And I heard that in Gujarat, they are called Nagar people. And in Karnataka, there is a difference of Grestru and Acharru. Acharru are the Vaidiki Brahmins, and Grestru are these Brahmins who took to the royal jobs. Bellamkonda Ramarao Garu hails from such a Niyogi family, the Brahmin family in which they took to royal jobs. So usually what is expected as a family culture of such families is that they are not into deep Shastric scholarship. Because Shastra scholars is a category within Vaidiki Brahmins, as I was mentioning. But that is not the case in reality. We have a huge list in the medieval times of Niyogi Brahmins among the Telugu-speaking Brahmins who were extraordinary Shastra scholars, and they composed wonderful Telugu poetry, poetic works also. So this combination of a Niyogi Brahmin and a Shastra scholarship has a long tradition, and their personal life also being a Naishtika life, also has a long tradition, recorded tradition. We have great examples. Bellamkonda Ramaraya Garu hails from such a family, Yogi family, but a very Naishtika family. And the name, full name that is with which he is known, Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavindrudu, is very interesting. This raw ending names have been changed into Raya, Ramaraya. Actually, it is not wrong because all these words are derivatives of the word Rajan only, Raja. Even Rayalu in Krishnadeva Rayalu is Raya only. He was known as Raya in Kannada. So, and there are words like Guru Rayaru, Guru Raja, Guru Rayaru, and all that. So, Rao is changed into Raya is expected, quite natural. And he was also known as a Kavi. Basically, his name ending has Kavi. And today, among the speakers in the symposium, uh, I find that almost everyone is covering only his Shastra side, the Advaita Vedanta side. So the Kavi side, the Kavya side has not received due attention. That's how it happens, symposiums and conferences. When we organize, we get speakers and whichever topics the speakers pick up will make the symposium. So because the Kavi part, his poetry part has been left out, I would try to cover that part of his contributions to some extent in the brief time that I'll be taking. So that is how, because he was also a poet, we are calling him Bellamkonda. Rama Rao changed into Ramaraya, then Kavi. And this Indrudu, Kavindrudu, do is a Telugu ending for any U ending masculine singular word. That's Telugu grammar. So Indra, Kavindra. So it can be taken as Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavindra as his name, and do ending is the Telugu ending. So now if we come back to his life, for those who do not know, most of the audience probably know, but for those who do not know, let me mention that he was not born into an Advaita Vedanta family. He was born into a Vaishnava family, a Sri Vaishnava family. And he, during the course of his life, on his own scholarly exploration, came to the conclusion that Advaita Vedanta of Shankara is better than his family traditions Vedanta, Sri Vaishnava Vedanta. And people attribute both his poetic skills and his shastric skills and his vadana skills, debating skills, polemical skills, all his skills to a Hayagreeva Anugraha. Hayagreeva is a very interesting Devata concept because Hayagreeva is worshipped among Madhvas, Sri Vaishnavas, and Advaita Vedantis also. Advaita Vedanta families also. All the three kinds of Hindu families, among all Hindus, Hayagreeva has a worship tradition. This Hayagreeva, the horse-headed face of Hayagreeva, you may find in the pictures and sculptures belonging to all the Hindu temples. And if you go to Madhva, Sri Vaishnava temples also, sometimes there is a separate shrine allocated to Hayagreeva. And this concept of Hayagreeva, like the concept of Dakshinamurti, Dattatreya, etc., is considered to be a concept above the Trimurti division also. It is considered to be a concept which is a dissolution of these differences and the highest tattva. So Hayagriva tattva is a very exalted tattva within Vaidika Sampradaya. And biographically, we see that Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi was had a darshana of Hayagriva, Anugraha of Hayagriva also. And because of that, he got all his abilities, his skills, etc. is the view that is taken by people. And another interesting aspect why people usually compare Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi with Shankara is a very short span of his lifetime. He lived only for 49 years. And within this short span of lifetime, he contributed a very big number of books. That's another similarity between Shankara and Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi. Nature is such that there are many prodigal stalwarts in India who lived for a very short time, including Swami Vivekananda. So Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi's situation is also like that. They lived for a very short lifetime, and within that short lifetime, they contributed so much. And another interesting aspect, which personally attracts me to Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi, is that like Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi was involved in polemics with non-Shankara. Actually, one of his works is called Sankaraasankara Bhasya Vimarsaha. So that the Vadas, we today in the contemporary academics also have our own polemics. Our polemics are with Hindu-phobic and Indo-phobic Indologists, Western Indologists. One of those Western Indologists with whom we have polemics wrote a book called Death of Sanskrit. The thesis inside that book, Death of Sanskrit, is this. After 1800, there is no creative work that has emerged through Sanskrit. Sanskrit language has not been used to create any new creative work. No creative ideas have come up in Sanskrit. And also, another point within that thesis is that the Shastric thinking, Shastric works have not been continued after 1800. So these cases like Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi stand as counterexamples to such an understanding. You have this case, there are huge number of such cases which stand as counterexamples to this argument that after 1800, Sanskrit has not been used for any creative work. There are a huge number of, humongous, I should say, number of Sanskrit works that stand as counterexamples. But within that, Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi's contributions also stand as an example because he was so recent. he was, during the time of the British, he was just very recent person. So uh, his contribution to creativity, to poetry, to new arguments being developed to within the Vaidika Sampradaya, Vaidika Vedanta Sampradaya, the Vada and Prativada, Purva Paksha, Khandana, all this continuing tradition, his contributions to that stands as a counterexample to the idea that after 1800, there are no creative works at all. And on Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi introduced humongous, very big number of works that he contributed. Because of he using Sanskrit as the medium, he was able to acquire an all India recognition. All over India, Advaita Vedanta scholars study his works. English translations of his works also have been attempted. There was a series being published by Chinmaya International Foundation. I think there is a pause in that publication currently, but there were one or two works of his were published by Chinmaya International Foundation as part of the series. But there are Telugu translations of his works. Almost all his Sanskrit works have been translated into Telugu. And these translations also happened a few years ago. There is still some work being done. Because he is a recent stalwart, his family, his grandchildren, great-grandchildren are all available, and they have a great pride for the contributions of their ancestor. And they are retaining that work also. They maintained a website of Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi on which they uploaded both his Sanskrit originals and also the Telugu translations. So, with these details that might be useful for the audience, let me now move on to the coverage of some of his works. As I was telling you, his basic contribution was in the direction of Hayagreeva Upasana. So he main works of him were Srimad Hayagreeva Shatakam, Hayagreeva Ashtottara Shatanamavali, Hayagreeva Sahasranamavali, Hayagreeva Navaratna Stuti. These are all focused on Hayagreeva, basically. And when we say Kavi, we generally don't count Ashtottara Shatanamavali or Sahasranamavali or Navaratna Stuti kind of works as poetry. But there are very interesting examples in Sanskrit literature. Mayura wrote Surya Shatakam, and he is known as a poet who acquired the highest status, being listed among other great poets like Bharavi and Magha and Dandi, etc., just because of this small one Shatakam on a deity, Surya. So, this Srimad Hayavadana Shatakam by Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi is also like that. It is a highly poetic work, highly scholarly work. So, like Mayura Surya Shatakam, it can make him stand among great poets. Just that single work can make him stand among great poets. And when you are creating Ashtottara Shatanamavali or Sahasranamavali, usually we just imagine that how could there be poetry in it? But actually, if you are creating namas, for those who know, they understand that Nama is among Nama Guna Rupa Leela Sankirtanas. Namas are actually consolidations of all these other aspects like Guna Rupa Leela Sankirtanas. And Leela Sankirtana for deities like Hayagreeva is very less in amount. So it is mostly Guna Rupa Sankirtana. And the Nama created out of that Guna Rupa Sankirtana needs a very great poetic skill. And if you look at the other poetic works of him, he wrote Sri Krishna Leela Tarangini and Samudra Manthana Champuhu, Rukmini Parinaya Champuhu, and Kandarpa Vilasa Bhanaha. If you look at these names of these works itself, you're able to see that Champus are two in them, Samudra Manthana and Rukmini Parinaya. And those who know the history of Sanskrit literature know that Champu works are experimental, deviant, novel, creative works within Sanskrit literature. I'm saying this because in Kannada and Telugu literatures, Champu works are the mainstream. They are not experimental there. Actually, if you don't write a Champu, if you write a pure, complete verse poetry, that is experimental. They use in Telugu poetry, they use the word Nirvachana Kavyam. Nirvachana Kavyam is an experiment there. Champu is the regular work. But when you look at the Sanskrit literature, Champu works are the novel creative works. And Bhana is a play type. It is a variety of Rupaka, a play, a drama. And that was the time when Bhanas were being created in Sanskrit literature. It all started somewhere around the end of 18th century and beginning of 19th century. For some very interesting reason, other people were also composing Bhanas at that time. So this Kandarpa Darpa Vilasa Bhana, composed by Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi, falls into that Yuga Chaitanya that we can call Gishtist, which is used in English. So this Rukmini Parinaya Champu is one of those works. And if you look at the book, it has got very big number of adhyayas. The adhyayas 52, 53 and 54 of the 10th skandha of Bhagavata Purana are the ones which were taken for this Rukmini Parinaya as the source. What Kavis in Sanskrit do is that they take a very small portion of a Purana and elaborate it with their own descriptions. So the original Rukmini Parinaya Ghatta in Bhagavata Purana has only 161 verses. But this book has got 618 verses and 53 Vachana Bhagas in it. And this book has is divided into Vilasas, Vilasa divisions. And it has got 9 such Vilasa divisions. And Vilasa 2 is the biggest of all these, and it has got 111 verses. And this work has very big gadyas. In Champu Kavyas, gradually it has become fashionable to write Shabdalankara Bharita Gadyas gradually. And this is also like that. It is full of Shabda Saundarya. These long champus of Rukmini Parinaya Kavya have got a lot of alliteration in them. So, if you take his skills of Mahakavya Rachana, in all these works like Sri Krishna Leela Tarangini, Samudra Manthana Champu, and Rukmini Parinaya Champu that I was discussing, and Kandarpa Darpa Vilasa Bhanaha, a play, a drama, then we will be able to understand the Kavi ending in his name, why he was called Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavindrudu, while to the larger world, broader image of him, he is an Advaita Vedanta scholar. Today, we have got a very big list of speakers who are going to cover his Advaita Vedanta contributions. The speakers are going to focus on his Brahma Sutra Bhashya part. Brahma Sutra is also known as Shariraka Sutra, and Chatussutri part of that is a very important part. So our speakers are going to focus on the Chatussutri part. And there is a work called Sankaraasankara Vimarsaha also. Speakers are also going to contribute on that, focus on that. So inviting all the speakers and expressing my gratefulness to all the speakers for having come here to contribute their discussion about and celebration, we should say, of this great creative contributor of very recent times, a stalwart, gigantic, colossal scholar and poet, Bellamkonda Ramaraya Kavi. I take leave. Om.
Thank you, Nagaraj, for a very concise and very comprehensive biographical sketch of Rāmarāyakavi.